Well, hello everyone. I'm Joshua Kitt, the director of the Composed Dream Games RPG Marketplace. But today I'm here to talk about the Canada Rolls Awards, the very first cross-Canada role-playing game awards for designers and artists. This is the first year that it's running, so this is the inaugural 2026 Canada Rolls Awards. We've been at various conventions with tables like this where people can vote. I'll show you it all in just a second. And you can go and find out more information at canadarolls.ca and vote there right now. There's just about 1 week left in voting because they will be announced at CanGames. Now, right up here, we were just at WBGCon in Winnipeg, and these are our nominees in 4 categories. And I will run through them all very quickly just so should you not, and you want to be a little bit more informed, you will feel more informed. There are, almost all of these are available through us, through Composed Dream Games. There are 2 on here that we don't have here in print. I'm just going to double check my little sheet here. That means you can get them in your local store in Canada, and also most of them in the UK. Not all of them are available there yet, but they will be soon. All right, so the missing ones are We Shall Be Monsters, which is, I believe, a solo play. It's possible it's a duet by Seb Pines of Good Luck Press. That's in our visual design category over here. So not shown. I'll try to throw up an image or 2 from that one. And we also have The Skittery Mines by, I will say Letha the Bard, because that's how I kind of know of her. And that is for the Nullhome Project. The Nullhome Project uses the same 2D8 key-powered system that Reanimated uses. It just came out a year before. So the criteria has to come out in 2025, in print, and be by plurality of Canadian contributors for the category it's in. So for rules design here, I don't even know if these labels show up. They seem to be washed out. For rules design here, the designer or designers have to be plurality Canadian. For visual design, the artist or artists have to be plurality Canadian. The one game that is in multiple categories is A Fool's Errand. That's for visual design and rules design. So you've seen a very brief overview here, but I will run through the 4 categories and try to say 1 or 2 things about each entry as we go. I'm going to put down this sheet. Okay. So we have, for visual design, Lady D's Grand Ball. Deanna Bird is the creator, and the interior looks something like this. Concept-wise, it's you've been invited to a grand ball, and you listen to music and have a dance, and when the music stops, the scene ends, and you move on. But this is for the visual design category. It is quite nice. Indeed. Okay, A Fool's Errand for visual design. Show you some of the interior art and a bit of a flip through and layout. I want to say it feels like it's on an uncoated paper, but the illustrations still pop, and it does have this nice fold-out map as well. And then Ringmaster, I might need to put this down for a second. Apologize for the sudden black screen, everyone. Who knows, I might cut this part out. Ringmaster is descended from the Queen game, but you have multiple crises cards. That's a cool thing. And there's all these different card types. Let's see if I can get it now. So a lot of them are just going to be your text with a design. Your prompts with your design. Nice, easy to read text. There's a French version of this as well that just came out in 2026. And then the art for the various ringmasters. So you pick one of these at the start of your game, and that'll impact your story a little bit, just by the characterization of the ringmaster. Okay, and then once again, for visual design, there is that We Shall Be Monsters by Set Pines of Good Luck Press. I am not going to manage to name every contributor every time. I apologize. And if you are the designer or artist and I have mischaracterized something, I apologize. Okay, let's start with the rules design. So this is the category for long form or multi-session rules design games. So Dirtbags is your dirty sci-fi shooter, a la Starship Troopers. It's a D6 kind of dice pool game. I really like showing this character sheet. So you have an action pool of dice. So you usually literally put dice on your sheet in D6s, and then you have your ammunition pool. Depending on your weapon, you can fire all of these if you want. It might not be a great idea because you will need to use your action pool, and then you have some reserve. I think when you use the dice, you move them into your reserve. That may or may not be accurate. It's got some wacky interior sketches in universe that add to the vibe for sure. And the feel of the game. Reanimated is an RPG for the zombie apocalypse. We have a supplement for that as well. That's Join the Ranks. Mechanically, this is a simple 2d8 and add something system. Damage is one of the interesting things where the damage varies. You roll 3d8, but depending on how heavy your weapon is, you'll take the highest or the lowest or the middle of that 3d8 for your damage. So pretty rules light, clean. This is just your Survivor RPG. Does a nice quick overview of the system on this quick reference page on the inside. Okay, Psychic Danger Society. This is about ladies in a small town who get together, drink tea, have psychic powers, and are investigating something. Probably like a murder, but it could be something else as well. And you roll all your dice at the beginning. They're all d12s, and then you spend them throughout the session. Good kind of world building, like possibilities through each kind of phase of play. Suggestions in here too. Okay, Nefertiti Overdrive, 2nd edition. There has been a prior edition of Nefertiti Overdrive. This has enhanced layout and history. System-wise, it's akin to Marvel Heroic. You're rolling in a dice pool. You're selecting, I think, 2 of them for the impact, one for like being able to overcome the opponent, and then one for like the die type is the impact. There's some other nuance in there too that I'm forgetting. But the big thing about Nefertiti Overdrive is your stats are dual rated in 2 types of dice. So like this person has the concept of Scout Healer D6, D8. If you describe how your scouting plays into your attack or your roll in a flashy way, then you get to roll the D8. If you just kind of go, oh, I'm using this, then you use the D6. So it encourages that over-the-top kung fu action in ancient Egypt. That fits the vibe. Okay, Gambit RPG. This is a rules light, very quick, card-based role-playing game. That's the rule book there. That's the GM book there. I'm going to try to literally make a character. I might have the suits backwards because one suit is for the GM and one suit is for the player. But look, there, I made a character. So this character is almost all physical. He's got 4 red cards and 1 black card. Possible I've got that backwards. Apologies if I do. You can also earn item cards. This one has item cards, or this box set has item cards for fantasy, but you can use Gambit for all sorts of, I would say, adventure style games, with some investigation possibly as well. That's sort of the vibe. Well, as the GM, you can look at the card and you can push the player and encourage them to push their luck. Okay, let's try to get Gambit RPG. So that's the end of the rules design category. So we've already gone over visual design, so you can vote for that one. We've gone over rules design for ongoing games or multi-session games, and we're going to go into short form, which may support episodic play here, and then scenario supplement design. So short form in one shot. So Going for Broke is one of the ones that could be. This is by Avery Alder, Buried Without Ceremony. I didn't say a bunch of the designers over here for the other categories. I apologize. So that's kind of how every scenario goes, and this is meant to be played in like 40 minutes. So you'd hand those out, you'd grab a character, so that's kind of their thing. And all you need besides this is like each character needs a coin to kind of like move around as you're tracking the scenes. I think you might flip for something. I think you might spend them. Flip your coin, unlock your coin. Heads, the plot succeeds. Tails, the plot twists. Second twist is a failure. So very simple. Meant as kind of an introductory, episodic, quick play. Let's go in for Broke. Capricious is by Ryan Can, the one true Ryan Can. This is, you are capricious gods who have destroyed the world and now you're remaking it in your image. You all have different objectives and goals. So this is the gods sheet. This is a one-shot for sure. The gods can destroy each other should they be really double down on what they want, but they have, say, a goal here, and then when somebody overwrites them, it gets fractured, distorted, or mirrored, and you kind of have to decide how it goes. Okay, Kaiju Control is, again, a one-shot jamless game. This concept is giant monsters, kaiju, have arrived on Earth, and when certain people touch them, they can control them, so Kaiju Control. You have, every player has a focus scene, and then another player would be the opposition, another player would be support. If you have more players, it varies a little bit. You get little support, big, little opposition, and that rotates as the focal scene changes. And there are some D6 rolling. Underneath is mostly a solo play game. This is a cave exploration, modern day cave exploration. So you could kind of tweak it. You are rolling to generate like passageways and rooms, and there's descriptions for those. And then what you might find there, like a hazard or an encounter or just something really weird. And there are tests along the way as well. Sock Puppets. This is by Kurt Riefling, as it says. This is you make puppets, you're live on TV after you make the puppets, recording your episodes, and awkward things happen. So this is kind of a very narrative, scene-based puppet show game. And then finally, we have First Date Update. This one also uses a coin. The idea here is you have two players went on a date. You have middle players as well who are trying to patch things up after the date, who are friends of both of these people. And you have a few scenes, so you find out a little bit about what happened at the date. The person who's got ghosted gives their perspective. The person who was ghosted gives their perspective. The middle players try to negotiate. There's some sort of confrontation, and the middle characters talking to them both and finding out what's going on, and that's it. So this could be played in like 15 minutes. You could do a few games as well. Probably the first time, not going to go 15 minutes, but you can play a few times very quickly. Okay, so that was one shot short form. So again, that's Going for Broke, Capricious, Kaiju Control, Underneath, Sock Puppets, and First Date Update. Head to CanadaRolls.ca to vote. Okay, so once again, we've got Adventure and Supplement Design. So here we have Join Their Ranks, which is a supplement for Reanimated. This came out closer to October. This came out right at the beginning of the year. So this one is a supplement with a nice scenario, a small town. You're trying to get to a train and get off. But the main thing about Join Their Ranks is rules to play as the zombies. Whereas in Reanimated, you were just playing as the survivors. So in here, you're playing as the zombies, trying to capture some humans, perhaps, for this last train. Though you could also flip it and use this and play the survivors. And if one of your players dies and becomes a zombie, then you can do the same thing. So neat little rules for different zombie types and so on. Okay, speedrun is compatible with Cyborg. I don't know as much about this one. Jordan, the designer, was at Winnipeg RPG Con this weekend and at Breakout. But I think there's kind of 2 scenarios in here. Just sort of a setup. This is an adventure where you're going against, a giant corporation and stealing from them. I was trying to find what that Nakatomi? I don't know. Sorry, Jordan. But speedrun is up there for adventure design as well. Emergence. This is a mothership from Single Stage to Orbit Press, a mothership supplement where you're going to play multiple characters because it's an escape funnel. I believe you are on a planet and it is like falling apart. It's like splitting or something. And there's the prison on this planet and you're trying to escape from that as there's a massive earthquake or something. So bunch of fun tables. You get to play a bunch of characters. Some of them will die. Hopefully some of them get out. And then maybe you can take those characters on to further mothership adventures. So that is Emergence, as it says on Escape Funnel. Floral Dragons. This is by Hit Point Press and a whole bunch of different contributors. I'm not going to try to say them all because I will miss somebody. And this is for 5e D&D. This is sort of your lighthearted, beautiful floral dragons. Mechanics for them, things that they would say to you, some plot ideas, like this cute dandelion dragon, an apple tree dragon. Cool. So. And then finally in this category, we do also have the one, before I talk about Seven Seal Spirits, we do also have the Skittering Mines, which is an adventure for the Nullham Project. I'll try to show an image of that. But here we have Seven Sealed Spirits made for Knave. This is an island Hexplorer. So this will work for any NSR, OSRA type situation. We've got the island here with which you can go and explore, and there's sort of these magic sealing away, but lots of other weird, fun stuff in here. It's kind of packed. More bullet point style. So pretty dense, but no long, paragraphs. So it depends on how you prefer your adventure supplements to be set up. Okay, I think that's about it. So the one thing I will say is I would encourage you to vote online at CanadaRolls.ca. These will be announced at CanGames on the Saturday this year. We'll probably continue to do that. Big shout out and thanks to the 4 different conventions that have helped promote the Canada Rolls Awards and given us space to do that. So there was Terminal City Con in Vancouver. There was Breakout Con in Toronto. There was WPG RPG Con in Winnipeg. And CanGames, where we are announcing them in Ottawa. Final note, please try to vote based off the content of the books, not any extraneous materials that you may be aware of. And the visual design should be the only one where you're voting, at least primarily, about the visual design. Visual design has an impact on your understanding of rules and so on, and the layout can do that as well. So it can be hard to distinguish them, but we would encourage you to try to do that as much as you can. Think about the rules and the experience, and does the rules and the experience match what it's trying to convey? Scenario and supplement is a little different, but along the same lines there. Is the writing solid? Does it do what it is trying to do on the tin? That is all. Thank you, and good gaming.